Hi. I've been writing about pop music for half a decade now, but for some reason I've never made a true worst list video before. This one doesn't count. I've always wanted to make them, but every year I either don't have time or I just forget to make them. I want to change that this year, and if you're seeing this, that means I did it. I don't have a summary of the year's pop music written down just yet, so instead here's a few buzzwords. Country music, regional Mexican, Ice Spice, Jersey Club, Taylor Swift, Barbie, and racism. There we go. These are my top 10 worst hit songs of 2023.
I hate to give the satisfaction asking,
oh, did you come? Is my pussy good?
Just what you wanted.
Number 10.
Look at you, cool bitch. Got it.
It feels wrong to put a hip-hop song in here when there was hardly any of it on the charts, but this one sucked just enough to make the cut. I feel like I should like this. I'm usually really into the goofier hip-hop tracks. I'm still a Ride or Die for Crybaby by Megan Thee Stallion, and it's not like this is any weirder or more transgressive. If anything, it's kinda tame.
Shit was leaking, ooh, juice. Shit with peaches, just like the fruit. She say that shit was fruit. I say that shit was goose.
I think that's part of the problem. Not only is Young Nudy not goofy enough, it feels like he's hardly even trying. The whole reason why I like these goofier tracks is because it lets the artist completely let loose and be fun. Sure, they might not be as serious as they usually are, but they're still attempting to wow you or get your attention in some capacity. Meanwhile, it sounds like Young Nudy is just making random sounds in the booth and forgot he's even recording a song.
What you doing, son? Digging that pussy. Beat it back down. What are we doing?
This hook sucks. It was a mistake to start the song with it. Combined with the actual intro, the song goes for nearly a minute before he even does anything. Those are some weak-ass thrust noises. Get some cupcake moans in there or something. Jeez. I guess the rest is okay, but these are just completely bog-standard verses from both of these guys. It's not nearly enough to make up for a hook that basically just turns into white noise the longer it plays. All I hear is a loading screen while they come up with the next verse. There certainly was good hip-hop out there this year. It's just a shame that hardly any of it crossed over while this did. A song titled that good deserves so much better.
Some real big things, but you make the worst one look.
Number 9.
I should have known it was strange. You only come at night.
Well, I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
To be completely honest, I've been growing a little softer to this song in the months since the media frenzy it sparked. Sometimes I start to feel it. How frustrated Oliver Anthony is with how much he and others struggle in the world's economic climate, and how much he wishes things could be better. As far as I can tell, it's an honest lament on the state of the world, and I'll admit that sometimes I can't help but feel his pain. It's a shame then that this song is also dumb as hell.
I wish politicians would look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere.
Rich Man North of Richmond is surprisingly unfocused for a song whose main goal is just saying life sucks because rich people keep stealing all our money. This song about the working class struggle somehow manages to find time to say things like coal miners matter more than children being abused on Epstein Island, and I begrudge fat people for receiving welfare. Ignoring the fact that fat poor people don't have anything to do with him struggling to make ends meet, it also completely distracts from his point. I thought we were supposed to be mad at Rich Men North of Richmond, not Old Man Jenkins who can't afford anything better than a value pack of store-brand cookies. You can try and excuse it by saying he's just saying what the average American is thinking, but if your goal as an artist is to rally people in support of a political cause, you need to make sure that you're focusing on the topic and not saying shit that'll make you look like a fool. Even outside the baffling second verse, this song still doesn't work.
These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do.
I don't know what he's trying to say here. He could mean anything from politicians are greedy to reptiles control the government. And that's a big problem because this is supposed to be a political song with a clear political takeaway. But I can't endorse what he preaches if I don't actually understand what he's preaching. It also sucks that the big takeaway of this song is seemingly, damn, these rich politicians sure tax the shit out of us. Too bad we can't do anything about it. I wish we could do something about it, but it is what it is. Oh well.
Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is.
I'm not asking for a detailed solution, but you'd think a song like this would try and rouse its audience to take action rather than steep in their misery and anger. Apart from the questionable politics themselves, this is just a bad political song. It fails to deliver a clear message, and it fails to inspire any kind of real action. If anyone's been inspired by this song to do anything, they probably didn't need the song to do it, since the song hardly gave them anything to work with. Oliver Anthony has since tried to clear up his actual political stances, but while I have no business disputing what he believes, this song is at best a really bad first impression, and at worst way more revealing of his beliefs than he would probably like. I hope he can better communicate how he feels next time, for his sake if nothing else.
Sucker, fucker.
Number 8.
You feel eating while I'm bleeding. That's my vampire.
I need someone to be patient with me, someone to get money with, not take it from me. They don't even need to be as famous as me. I don't think I meet them at the places I be, but deep down I think about you all day, mommy. I know I'm a pit bull, but darling, mommy, I just wanna take you on a holiday, mommy. Come and rescue me. Whoa, take me out the club, take me out the trap, take me off the market, take me off the map. Tell them it's a rap.
I didn't come this far just to come this far and not be happy.
Okay.
Remember that.
You didn't come this far just to come this far.
Don't know how to express my love, that's why American Express my love for you. I need tryna hit the A, but don't hit me up in WID me, baby. Nah. Send a boy a PIC to see me, baby. Damn. Okay, now we talking. Okay, now we talking.
Every bitch I ever talked to told me you were mine. You called me. God, I hate the way I called him. Too, you're so convincing.
Number 7.
How do you want without flinching?
Content warning for the next entry, which discusses domestic abuse. I won't go too much into it, but if you need it, the timestamp to the next segment, which is number 6, is in the description below. If you're gonna write a song about rescuing a poor defenseless woman who apparently has no agency whatsoever from an abusive relationship, try not to indulge too much in the power fantasy aspect of it. Hardy writes this whole encounter like a self-insert superhero. He rescues a helpless, innocent girl who's been horribly battered, says nothing but badass one-liners to her like climb in, where is he, and wait in the truck, kicks down the guy's door and immediately shoots him dead before he can even react, and then says nothing as he sits on the porch and steals his cigarettes while he waits for the cops, presumably while the girl's just awkwardly sitting there in the idling truck. At no point do I get the sense that he's all that worried or feels any kind of empathy for the girl, or is even all that mad about the guy for that matter. He doesn't wonder about how she feels about it all before or after. He doesn't show any kind of fear as he rolls up to the guy's place or while he waits for the cops to arrive or anything like that. This character knows what's the coolest and most heroic thing to do, but he's so devoid of actual human emotion that he doesn't seem real, which is kind of a problem when Hardy's putting himself in the guy's shoes while he frames this as a serious message song about abuse.
She didn't tell the whole truth, but she didn't have to. I knew what had happened to her.
Not only is it in poor taste, it makes him look like a dork who just wants to be the cool guy. There's something kinda icky about this chorus too.
I don't know if he's an angel, 'cause angels don't do what he did. He was hell-bent to find a man behind all the whiskey scars I hid.
The first couple lines try to hint that immediately resorting to murder is not the best idea, but the way it suggests that the solution to her being abused is at the end of a gun's barrel just feels wrong. It doesn't focus on the catharsis they seek or the possible consequences. He just does it and goes, well, my job here is done. Take me away, coppers. I don't need this to be a well-researched PSA on domestic abuse or anything, but I worry that this song isn't trying to be anything other than that. The end of this chorus is not an emotional payoff, it's just a bad solution to a difficult problem. If he was trying to write a serious song about domestic abuse grounded in reality, he completely bombed him. If he was trying to write a power fantasy that made him look cool and badass, he probably would have had better luck trying to write about Batman instead. Number 6.
Sprinkler bitches know better. I saw some real big.
I only talk to God when I need a favor, and I only pray when I ain't got a prayer.
Not every song needs to be specific and detailed to work. Sometimes there's power in ambiguity or universality, and it's also not reasonable to expect artists to always divulge personal details of their lives to the entire world. However, this song in particular really could do with some specificity, because none of the shit he's saying matters to me.
I know amazing grace, but I ain't been living them words. Swear I spend more Sundays drunk off my ass than I have in church.
The song sees him begging God for a favor, admitting that he hasn't always been the most God-fearing Christian out there, but that he needs God to help him just this one time. He promises that it'll make it up to him, he'll turn his life around, he'll do anything if it means granting this one prayer. What's his prayer? The one singular line alluding to what he's praying for is this.
But I'll pay for all I done, just please don't let me lose her.
What does that mean? The music video suggests that it could be about a dying daughter, but if I never bothered to watch the music video, I could guess that it's about anything. It could be his mom dying, it could be his partner about to break up, it could be his ex who has already broken up with him, it could be his missing AirPod that he dropped on the train tracks for all I know. It gives you just enough of a guide to roughly guess what's happening, but it's so vague and it sounds like a throwaway line in the song, rushed out haphazardly to make way for the chorus.
Just please don't let me lose her. I only talk to God when I need a favor.
What bothers me so much is how dramatic and grand the song is trying to be. It's trying so hard to make you feel this guy's pain, how guilty he feels to have not done anything for him in so long, yet how desperately he needs God in this moment because he's about to lose something so important to him. It doesn't work because I can't actually feel his struggle. I don't know what he's actually about to lose. And I can't imagine what it is and try and focus on the pain itself either because he throws in that one nugget of information. It could have been a powerful song about the fear of losing something really precious, or it could have been a song about the desperation of religious guilt itself, but instead it turns your focus to what he's gonna lose before showing you absolutely nothing. If I were God, I would be like, I don't know what you're asking for, buddy. I'll make sure your daughter gets a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, I guess. You want Splatoon or Pokemon? Those are the games I got. I also just flat out don't like the chorus.
I only talk to God when I need a favor.
It only serves to emphasize the song's lack of specificity. It repeats this one boring melody twice before breaking it up with another equally boring melody, before repeating the first one again without any satisfying or useful resolution, and apart from the intro, it follows it up with hacky whoa-oh-ohs. But what really makes the song bad isn't the boring chorus, it's how much they use it and how much they focus on it. For one, they play it 4 times in the span of 3 minutes, but more importantly, because the verses are so short, combined with the post-chorus, it takes up more than 2/3 of the whole song. It feels like it's artificially taking up space, stealing time away from the verses which might help to actually elucidate the situation. Anytime Jelly Roll sounds like he might actually say something, he cuts himself off and goes, "I only talk to God when I need a favor" for the 7th time in a row. Between the lyrics, production, and the structure of the song, it feels like everything's just taking up space and blowing everything out of proportion for nothing. It really wants to show you just how hard this guy has it and how desperate he is for relief, but he says nothing about what he needs, and he keeps cutting himself off at every turn just to wail about the same damn thing again. It sounds like a boy crying wolf, and I don't have the patience to see if the wolf is real. Number 5. This feels like an insult. After the genuinely wonderful explosion of regional Mexican music and pop culture, you expect me to accept a shitty reggaeton track that sounds like it's coming out 5 years too late just because it has Peso Pluma on it? There's absolutely nothing here. The beat is dull and boring, Young Lucas is a vacuum of charisma, Peso Pluma sounds like he rightfully doesn't give a shit, and the lyrical content also gives absolutely nothing. This sounds like a generic template for a song and they forgot to write a song over it. You've got a million other Peso Pluma songs to enjoy, go play those instead.
You still eat it while I'm bleeding, that's my vampire.
Number 4. Something very important about music criticism that I should have realized sooner is that you can't always judge an artist's character based purely on their music. Sure, music often is an expression of an artist's feelings, but you can't always assume that you know what a person is like just because of your own preconceived notions towards their music. Just because their music fits a certain archetype doesn't mean they're actually like that in real life. I am trying very hard to follow this principle, but some people just make this really hard for me. In all my time writing about music, I've never encountered a song this excellent shoot itself in the foot this hard. Its production is gorgeous, with fluttering piano arpeggios punctured through its verses that give way to warm strings that grow from gorgeous to exciting to symbolize his limerent love. The song builds, pulls back, and swells again at all the right moments, creating a truly beautiful ode to a lover. Or at least it would if I could hear it over my alarm bells going off.
It was just two lovers, sitting in the car, listening to Blonde, falling for each other. Pink and orange skies, feeling super childish, no Donald Glover.
The clearest alarm bell is Jake's awful rap singing in his verses. They don't fit the song, and it's clearly not natural coming from a man so white, I'm surprised his last name isn't Boone. I've poked fun at his eye-roll inducing references to Frank Ocean and Donald Glover, plus him calling his girlfriend the baddest.
She knew she was the baddest, can you even imagine falling like I did?
But I also want to highlight this bit.
Missed call from my mother. Like, where you at tonight?
I would love to see this text from his mom, where his mom asks her son, quote, "Where you at tonight?" Is your mom really texting you, "Where you at tonight, Jake?" Actually, come to think of it, that would explain a lot. Between the combination of all these things and what's supposed to be an appreciation of his love, it makes Jake sound more fixated on the act and the aesthetic of young love rather than the actual love. A trait which is a big fixture of the whole sensitive lover boy archetype. Guys who are so fixated on the image of young love that they try so hard to look soft and romantic, but you know deep down that it's all a put on so they can get in your pants. Again, I know I'm basically just making assumptions, and I don't have a great way to constructively explain what's wrong with white boys looking soft. You're free to get on my case for that, but I personally like to think of this assumption as more of a survival instinct than anything. These red flags are so insidiously subtle that I keep thinking I'm being paranoid, but I know that I have to trust my gut, and my gut is telling me to avoid this soft boy at all costs. Golden Hour is an embarrassing, pretentious, and unconvincing love song that does not earn its beautiful production at all. Or its name for that matter, that will always belong to Casey Musgraves.
You said it was too long, but wouldn't that be hard? You can't help anyone, 'cause that would mean you
Number 3.
I tried to eat something, now I know that I can't.
Every single aspect of the song is so patently ridiculous, it ends up being kind of funny. David Kushner tries so hard to reach the absolute deepest depths of his vocal range and completely destroys his diction trying to get there.
Trying to wash away all the blood I spilled.
He sounds like he just got stung by a swarm of bees. And you can tell, he's just doing this to sound cool. There's no other reason why you'd try to sing like this because it so obviously makes you sound like you're trying too hard if you don't actually have that vocal range. I would recommend him trying to bring it up a few notes or so, but apparently if he's not croaking like a frog, he's screaming like a banshee.
Oh, I love it and I hate it at the same time. You and I drink the poison from the same vibe.
I can hear his vocal cords dying every time he sings that note. The worst part is that I can sense that he probably does have a lovely voice, but he's trying so hard to sound cool and dramatic that you won't ever get to hear his actual talent. That's the other thing about Daylight. The production is so dismal and dramatic, somber notes coming from a piano so organic that you can hear its ear-piercing creaks every time the pedals are pressed. eventually accompanied by thunderous drums, a fuzzy choir that only makes the chorus even more grating, and a mean guitar that admittedly is a pretty cool touch, but it's all in service of... what? What's got David's character so torn up that he's screaming into the void like this? I'll tell you what, absolutely nothing.
Deep down, way down, Lord, I try to follow your light, but it's nighttime. Please don't leave me in the end.
There's a very clear religious slant to his lyrics, with all his allusions to sinning, giving into temptation, begging for forgiveness and all that, but much like how Jelly Roll can't seem to say what he needs a favor for, David Kushner doesn't seem to know what he did wrong. He keeps going on and on about the blood on his hands, the darkness in his soul, the poison in his veins and whatnot, but none of that shit means anything. It's all just disjointed metaphors that he says absolutely nothing with, but he treats it with such angst and gravitas as if he killed somebody. I get that universality and vagueness can work sometimes, but at this point he's just asking me to fill in the blanks and give him credit for a narrative that I made up in my head. I like to think that this song is about stealing a balloon on Free Balloon Day. I get the impression that this will be a really easy target for this year's worst list, but I think it's for good reason. Point and laugh, y'all. Number 2. Absolutely pathetic, every single thing about it. None of these things happen in cities or small towns. Jason Aldean's not even from a small town. He didn't even write this goddamn song. All this so he can be racist? What the hell is wrong with you? Is Nashville's payroll really worth going down in history as a phony racist tack? At least Oliver Anthony tried. Reconsider the life choices that led you to this point or go bankrupt. Number 1. The one saving grace for Jason Aldean is that his song basically disappeared after 2 weeks. I didn't have to hear it for the entire fucking year.
Last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all.
This is one of the most mind-numbing songs I've ever heard, like in the most literal sense of the phrase. You know how that guitar line currently playing in your ears is already starting to get annoying? It goes through the whole fucking song, and it's always dead center in your mind, not paying rent. Listening to this makes me feel dizzy. It's like being slowly spun around in circles for so long that you fall over and throw up anyway, even though you weren't going that fast. It's only ever accompanied by hacky finger snaps and 808 hits, which is worse than if it were just the guitar because it reminds you that there could be other things in the mix, but that they chose to highlight the cloying guitar riff instead. It's just understimulating enough to drive you mad, but also just stimulating enough to subconsciously activate your brain so that it can process with heightened senses just how understimulated it is. It's torture. Speaking of torture, Morgan Wallen. Why is he here? What's his purpose anymore? Why is Nashville keeping him around? So he can be the Maroon 5 of country music? Why do we need a Maroon 5 of country music? Isn't Maroon 5 enough?
But baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night.
These lyrics about how he and his girl had a big fight and seemed like they broke up, but that she's totally gonna come back to him and they're totally gonna bone tomorrow is the exact kind of shit Adam Levine would write. Except he usually at least tries to keep the solution believable. Does Morgan Wallen really expect me to believe that her friends are telling her to stay with him?
My friends say let her go. Your friends say what the hell, I wouldn't trade your kind of love for nothing else.
If this is true, she needs to block all of their numbers and become friends with the guy's friends instead, because they're apparently the ones with common sense here.
I know you packed your shit and slammed the door right before you left, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet.
There's many reasons why I'm grateful to not be American, but here are my top 3 reasons. 1. I don't have to worry about gun safety. 2. I don't have to worry about what the fuck a credit score is. 3. I don't have to worry about hearing Morgan Wallen on the radio. Good luck, America. You're gonna need it.
No way it was our last night.
You still eat it while I'm bleeding, that's my vampire.